Yo, what is up, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And you're going to see a couple of back-to-back gameplays here of free-for-all, except this time it's a little bit different. There's a couple of good players in this lobby, and I quickly realized this after this match, and then go into it in the second match. Actually, after this match, you'll get to see in the lobby leaderboards exactly where they stand. So it was a lot of fun, but yet it was competitive, and it was very refreshing because there was no hate mail afterwards. Usually, I mean, usually I get hate mail whether I win or lose. Usually I get hate mail, and a lot of the times it comes from other good players, but this time it was fairly quiet, which is really good. And obviously after this match, I know what I'm in for because I definitely got a good taste of it in this match here. So I basically go full try hard mode in the next match, and it works out in my favor. But at the same time, it was nice and peaceful, so that's always good to know. But that's not entirely what this video is about. This video kind of goes hand in hand with in terms of what I wanted to talk about, which is also partially inspired by some of the comments that some of you guys have left me in the comment section. And that is, well, in other words, is Call of Duty just not as casual anymore? And we're just talking about pubs in general. Like, has Call of Duty scared off a lot of the casual community, and basically all that's left are the guys that are like tryhards, the guys that are not quite as casual, the guys that will grind a lot, the guys that will do whatever it takes to get better? Is there just that much more of a percentage of us and way less of a percentage of casuals? What do you guys think? Because some of you guys in the comment section like pretty much think this. So basically, I wanted to go a little bit more in depth in it in this video, as well as talking about tryhards, because quite frankly, one of the things that constantly breaks my heart, and I'm actually a very humble person, whether I'm really good at something or whether I'm not, my humility level pretty much stays the same. My confidence level, obviously, when I'm not as good at something, isn't as high as something that I'm good at, obviously, which makes complete sense. But it builds with time, as long as I keep working on it, obviously. But the thing is that a lot of people, especially in our community, when it comes to Call of Duty, a lot of tryhards are just like really angry and mean people. Like, for instance, in this game, when I started playing this again last night, I see my rank, I see the level 1000, I'm like, and all of a sudden, in a flash, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of memories came up, a whole bunch of thoughts came up and experiences from the past when I played this game, which was probably around 2 years ago, the last time I played this game, somewhere around that mark. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of hateful, angry people out there that are really good, and whether they win or lose, they will talk shit to you relentlessly, and it's bullshit. And usually, like, again, I'm a very humble person, like I said, until I'm provoked. As soon as I'm provoked, it's like I just want to basically make you eat your own words and basically just keep on beating you in the game relentlessly until you either leave the lobby or until you shut the fuck up. So that's the kind of mentality sometimes that's the kind of fire that kind of lights up inside me, basically, when all of a sudden that happens. And at the same time, there's also been some other people out there that have that, for instance, in free-for-all, this doesn't happen very often in terms of game after game after game, but there have been a few instances where there'd be a player that is so good that they would constantly beat you game after game, and there'd be a few games where you'd get really close, and you just don't quite make it, and they get the win just before you do, or there's just time after time again to where they end up getting the best of you, and the more gunfights that you face off against each other. But at the same time, there are a certain level, and there's not much of a percentage of this, unfortunately, but when it comes to those kind of good players that are at that level, basically, some of them just basically don't talk shit. They'll say things like, good game, or they'll say things like, hey, we should party up sometime, or actually they might even give you a compliment, or, you know, things like that. So, or they'll just keep playing game after game after game, and then after, you know, one of you is done with the session, they'll basically send you a message or something like that. a friendly one, not necessarily a hateful one, but that's pretty rare when it comes to the community, and I wonder why that is. I don't quite understand that. I don't know what it is about COD. I mean, I can even speak for myself. I don't fully understand what the hell it is about Call of Duty that sometimes can make me angry. If it was any other game, whether it was Halo, whatever the hell it was, I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't start caring until I got good at the game. I don't know, maybe. But at the same time, I don't think there are that many casuals. I think you guys definitely have a point in the comments section to where there aren't that many casuals as there used to be. There still are a good amount, and a majority of the people are still casual. But I think the percentage of those people has died down tremendously. And I will actually go as far as to say that it could be our fault. Like, the YouTube community has a lot of influence over the community, whether they're casual or not. Like, for instance, and I don't necessarily mean this like that they intentionally did it. I'm sure some of them intentionally try to inspire the community to become better players or whatnot. But I think in terms of the evolution of the player, in terms of Call of Duty and the community, I personally think that also because of social media and things like YouTube and stuff like that, like I'm a victim of this, and now I'm actually doing what they were doing. Like, I was inspired, it all started with Sandy Ravage back in 2012, and then after that, I was inspired by the other people that I've started watching content on here on YouTube. Guys like XCal, you name it. I mean, all the OG guys, I was inspired pretty much by almost every single one of them. And I was even inspired by people that weren't as good but made good content. So it just goes to show you, man. It's like, and eventually, obviously, it all started with the passion of Call of Duty, like, right? My love of the game and my desire to wanting to be better. And then pretty much by putting the videos together and learning and putting the two together, and some time, it ended up happening. And lo and behold, I even wanted to become a content creator, and here we are, all these X amount of years later, and almost 1,200 subscribers strong. So I think right now, in terms of the community, I mean, like, there's headsets are a normal thing now. People have scuffs or an elite controller now more than they ever did before. They understand how the game works, all these different things. I mean, it really does go to show you, like, in terms of not just the game itself, but the community, how the community has evolved. I think it's in one hand, it's great. I mean, I think competitive is really good. I think within the human species itself, we're naturally competitive all the time. So even subconsciously, we're always competitive. On one hand, it's really good, but at the same time, I can't help but think that it's a little unhealthy, because when it comes to this game, there was one point in time, and I can speak for myself, before I got good at this game, at Call of Duty in general, and I still, actually, I can't believe I'm even saying that, because I still don't consider myself a very good player. I consider the competitive players really good, or those handful of pump stompers that can compete with competitive if they wanted to. I consider those guys really good. I still consider myself a noob in many ways. But the thing is that on one hand, I can't help but think that it's kind of unhealthy to basically, in one aspect at least, it's kind of unhealthy because it kind of takes us away from playing other games or enjoying other games or just enjoying gaming in general, because some of us have gotten to the point now to where we don't enjoy a certain game or even this game unless we play well, right? We will talk shit about it because because we get killed time and time again. So it's one of those things to where it's kind of like unhealthy in a sense. I mean, if you guys think about what I'm trying to say, it kind of makes sense to a degree, right? So I personally think the more different kinds of games that you play, the better. Granted, if you're a gamer, some people only gravitate towards one type of game or one genre. But I will admit that I am a victim of this myself. I'll put myself right there on the chopping block, because basically I used to play so many more games before I started having this type of competitive drive and thirst and desire to be better at Call of Duty. And now with content creation, it seems to have, to a certain degree, have gotten worse because I just have this drive and this love for Call of Duty, and for some reason it's not as satisfying. It still is, but it's not quite as satisfying playing a certain game as it is getting online and just making it to the top of the lobby game after game, or a majority of games. So it's kind of interesting, at the least, to see exactly how we've evolved as a community in general, like the Call of Duty community. And I think you guys are definitely right, looking at it more in depth now. You guys are definitely right. The community itself has evolved, and there aren't that many casuals anymore. So maybe there isn't skill-based matchmaking. I'm just saying, with this theory alone, there very well could be. And I still stand by the fact that there could be, at least to a certain degree, of skill-based matchmaking. That it's been like, it's all mathematical. So I'm sure it's been altered as time has gone on with the Call of Duty, and it changes with the developers as well. So I think to a certain degree there is some version of it, whether it's light or heavy. But when you look at the overall community, though, it's like the ratio of casuals to, it's like the tide is turning into the competitive player now. It's not as casual as it once was. Call of Duty, you used to just effortlessly get on, and if you had a decent idea of what you were doing, you'd get on, you'd win game after game after game, and that was it. You'd have a good time, you'd log off, whatever. Now there's just so much more going on. There's the Prestige Master Race. There's people that are going for 100 bombs. There's people that are going for the first nuked out, or the first nuclear, or whatever it is, or 25-point streak for the games that have them. Things like that. Top of the leaderboards. You guys name it. There's all sorts of things going on right now that basically weren't as much of a thing back in the day. And I'm talking about like pre-Black Ops 2. Because I think it was around the Black Ops 2 time to where things, at least for me personally, where things started to shift. And that's when I saw that things started to shift. And a lot of it was very apparent in terms of who you would run to in the game. And with every single Call of Duty game you play nowadays, there's always a handful of people that just do not leave those games, and they're very, very good at those games. And at the same time, you'll run into those people in all sorts of different Call of Duties. And that seems to be happening a lot more frequently now than it did back in the day. So that's all I got for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay in the background. I guess they say that the true way to measure just how good you are is to play against other people that are around your skill set, which is why I think the pro players have an edge over the best pub stompers out there, because they constantly play against better players with a certain rule set as well. So, but other than that, though, it was really nice. It kind of gave me a little bit of boost of confidence that, like, hey, you're not too old. You still got something left in the tank. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Do you guys agree with this? Do you disagree with this? What's your overall experience? I'd really like to know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.